Hi, this is week 4, problem 1, and in this problem we're going to have to find the mistakes that are happening, and then we will look at all of the general journal, and let's start by looking all of these accounts. Cash 10,500 would be debiting, capital would be crediting, rent expense would be debiting, cash would be crediting. So that's correct so far. Wages expense debiting, cash crediting. Drawing would be debiting, cash would be crediting. Telephone expense debiting, cash crediting. Cash would be debiting. Professional fees, obviously revenue would be crediting. Wages expense debiting, cash would be crediting. Accounts receivable debiting, professional fees crediting. That's all good so far. Utilities expense is debiting. Cash is crediting. Okay, good. Accounts payable is debiting. Cash is crediting. So obviously we're paying off the loan. And then office supplies is debiting, whereas accounts payable is crediting. So we got another account. Okay. Now the first thing is we got to look at this and make a new trial balance off of this, but we take a look at these and see if we see any mistakes. First of all, the cash always has a debit balance. It never has a credit balance, obviously, because you'll probably have some money. So I'm going to highlight this with yellow because that means that this debit has to be under this credit has to be under the debit balance. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to make a new Word document just so I can take a look at both of them at the same time because it's a little bit harder if I don't. Okay, so then I'm going to go to the trial balance and I'm going to say cash. And then let me see if I can do this view side by side. Okay, good. So cash would be 10,685. 10,600. Wait, hold on. Sorry. 685 would be under the debit balance. So that's one mistake. The second mistake would be account receivables for 2,500. You would have a debit balance under account receivables. Let me look up at the general journal. Account receivables 2,500. I don't think they paid off anything, so account receivables is good. So I'm going to add account receivables, which would be, oh, it's taking a while. Okay, and obviously the account number over here will be 101, 122. Okay, the next thing is office supplies. So I'm going to write office supplies. Make sure you spell correctly. And obviously then we get to look at the end and see if everything looks okay. Office supplies is $350. Let me go look up at the general journal. Office supplies, I'm going to look down for office supplies. I don't see office supplies. Office supplies $350, and I believe that's the only thing. So yes, office supplies is $350, so that is still not a mistake. So we are good with that. So 350. Okay. And then we have the next one is accounts payable. Accounts payable is 202. All right, let's look at accounts payable. Accounts payable up here, since it's 202, we have accounts payable $220. So they paid off $220 because it's under the debit, and then they took 350. So your balance would be 350, your credit minus your debit. So it would be 350, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to ask for a calculator. Okay, calculator. So I'm going to say 350 minus 220 is 130, and I believe that's about it. So over here, I'm going to go down here. And I'm going to say that my accounts payable is 130, but it's not under the debit balance. It would be under the credit balance. Okay, so that is the second mistake that we've seen so far. The next one is capital. Okay, and that would be under 311. Oops, 311. And it says $10,500, and I believe that would be the very top. Let me see, capital 10,500. So yes, $10,500, and you credit it, correct? So that is correct. 10,500, and then you have drawing. Drawing. And drawing is 312, and you have a drawing of $8,100. Let's see if it's $8,100, because it just kind of seems like a very big amount. All right, drawing. Okay, it is $1,800. All right, so it's $1,800, and you would debit that. 1,800. So that's another mistake. Okay. Professional fees is another, let's see, professional fees is revenue is 7,550. It is under the credit balance, but let's look at professional fees over here. All right, professional fees, I have one for 5,050, and I have another one 2,500. So 5,050 plus 2,500 is 7,550. So 7,550 should have been the balance, and that is the balance. Okay, great. So we have professional fees. Okay, it is 401. It's 7,550. And then you might want to do this. Okay. And then you have wages expense. And wages expense is 511. And it is 1315. Let's see, was it 1315 wages expense? Okay, so we have 665 that you paid off, and 650. 665 plus 650, that's 1315. All right, 1315, is that correct down here? 1315, that is correct. Okay, so we're just gonna add 1315. And then we have rent expense. And rent expense is 521. And it seems like it is $800. Let's look up if it is $800. If it is $800, it is $800. All right, so that is correct as well. So this is 800. And obviously you should have put the zeros at the very end over here, but all right. And then telephone expense. Telephone expense is 525. All right, 525, and it seems like it is $525. Let me see, telephone expense. It is $525. All right, so that should have been correct as well. That's how funny is it? Both the account number and the balance for telephone expense is the same. All right, and then we have utilities expense, and it is 533. And let's see, utilities expense up here. It is 205, and it is 205 over here. And it seems like we have everything correctly. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all of our debits and then add all of our credits and see if we get an even amount. So 10,685 plus 2,500 plus 350 plus 1,800, 1,315 plus 800 plus 525 plus 205, that adds you 18,180. So 18,180. And let's see if we get the same amount over here on the credit side. 10,500 plus 130 plus 7,550, 18,180. 18,180. Okay. And then down here where it says, I believe there's one more problem. All right, it didn't actually add over here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. Hopefully I can. and I'm going to paste it in the actual corrected trial balance. Nope, didn't work. All right, let's see. All right, so I'm going to do this. Copy. And obviously you guys have to put the consulting trial balance June 30th, all of that good stuff down here as well. So make sure you don't forget that. And all right, so there we go. And so don't forget the very top part, please, so you can actually include it. And I want you to do is find the errors and then highlight them using the highlighter box. We've done that explain what caused the error. So you kind of look through that. Cash, you explain it. Cash was inputted in the credit balance where it was supposed to be on the debit balance. Accounts payable was added rather than subtracted. And then drawing, they just kind of mixed up. Instead of 1,800, they put the 1 and the 8s, they mixed the 1 and the 8s, which caused it to be 8,100. And those are the mistakes that have happened in this particular example. Let me know if you have any questions at all.